Welcome back to Whiskey Throttle. We're here in the shop today. It's going to be cold and rainy out today. And we're working on the Gator again. So, we have the wheels spaced in right now. They do switch around and we're going to make them go out quite a bit wider. Or I'm going to anyways. So far I figured out that these little Chinese shocks here, they got an air fitting on them. You pump them up to I think it's max 75 psi, but makes the whole back of the Gator not sag so much, and it also solves the issue of bottoming out. We got more space in between the tire and the wheel. So far that you haven't seen is that, which is just a racing go-kart bearing that I made some mount tabs for, and yeah, they're all right. They gotta be welded in, but they're not bad. The other thing is these two arms that come down, they got bolted in, and some, I guess they're called roll cage cam locks, I think they are, and some gussets down below where I cut everything out. Everything's got to be welded up. The tabs have just been moved. The engine got slid forward 8 inches. And then everything bolts back together. So the thing that I'm going to be doing now, if you want to see, there's the engine. So, engine's out. That's what it looks like right now. And that's the chair that I'm going to cut up to make the rest of the frame of this mini Gator. Yeah, sorry, sock was there for a spacer. Kept rubbing on the bottom real bad. So now we're going to look at the, let me bring you in here. Now we're going to be looking at doing the side steps. So I figured out right there. If you see, that's where it's going to come off. Then it's going to run over and then go back to where I cut the bottom parts of the frame bracing out. And then don't worry about the little brake arm, because we got to make 2 of those for front and rear brake. It's going to be tractor style, because I don't want to make another handbrake. I can do throttle and clutch, but I feel like if you put both brakes down at your feet on your right hand side like a tractor, where you have left hand side is front brakes and right hand side is rear brakes, and then you just make it a little biased so that when you stomp on them, the back comes on immediately rather than just the front. It takes a second longer, but all we have to do, I hope, is we're going to double up this bracket, make another one with a piece of square stock. It moves another hole out. And we're going to attach another one of those dirt bike style brakes. I'm going to hide the reservoir under the seat along with all the wiring and everything else. By the way, these are made, I made these little, so that if you want, you can take the engine back out. Because without it, you're not getting that back out. It was already tight. And I mean, I guess from the factory when it's 8 inches longer, it had no problem. But now that it's stuffed right to the front, that's what I mean by 8 inches. I've cut 8 inches from the engine cradle. I left the back half mounts, and the reason why I left the mounts for the original spot where the engine used to sit is so I didn't lose any geometry to the back sprocket down there. So I left the back half mounts right there for the engine to basically locate where the new mount's going to be, and then I cut it right in front of the engine. And I pulled all of that in 8 inches because that's how much shorter the Gator was compared to the quad. So the best place I could figure out where to shove 8 inches out of it was either the control arm or the swing arm, right? I thought maybe I'll shorten that 8 inches, right? But I thought, lose a lot of travel that way. Or I did it right where the engine was. I thought maybe I could pull 8 inches out of it, which it wouldn't if I didn't cut those 2 pieces that used to go down to the frame, which I'm sure we're gonna have issues with, but hey, we'll see how it goes. At least the swing arm's the original way, and the way I got it to fit underneath was I cut the back seat part off the frame, and then I lowered it down to the size of the Gator. That gave me the back half, and then the shock ended up being the original location on the top. That wasn't the hard part, but down below I cut it. Get a better look. I cut it from where it used to be, and I stuffed it back in and lowered it so that it has the right ride height. That was kind of a pain in the ass. I messed with that a lot. Up and down and up and down and up and down. I didn't get it right until I added quite a bit of preload, and then the box sat proper, because otherwise it kept sitting tilted, which was super annoying. Which, by the way, new set of rims and tires would look sick on this thing. And yes, I know grind hard plumbing, and I know rather be welding and cars and cameras. They've all done these. But I had a Gator that was here. I love those shows. I love the way that they did them. I just figured, hey, let's see if I can do it cheaper. A little cheaper this time than what they did on the show. All I did was get a old Chinese quad, 250cc Chinese quad, and they said the engine was good in it. So when I brought it home, I got the engine running. It was just the starter switch, like the ignition key switch. Once I got the engine running with a new, cleaned out the carburetor, made sure it would run. I drove the quad around for like a week. Nobody wanted to ride it. I don't know. I rode it for a bit, but people said they didn't want to ride it with me. It's kind of sketchy too. All the ball joints and everything weren't good, you know. So it's not like it's a, ooh, look, I'm riding in a Chinese quad, you know. It looked kind of stupid to them. And the plastics look goofy, kind of like a Raptor, wannabe Raptor, and that was terrible. So I built these little cam locks myself, welded them into the frame. The bearing's a go-kart bearing, like I said. At least it's got adjustment up and down. If you look, it's got 3 bolt holes, so you can actually lift the steering wheel up and down.
Daddy, we didn't see.
So here we are again. The pieces are cut off of that chair, like I said I was doing. And I stuck the body back on for a second, just so we could see where this piece needs to go. So here's one of the pieces that I cut. And I think it's gonna go under this and over is what I'm hoping for. So, from what I can tell, is I gotta get less of a bend on this pipe, and I guess the other one as well. So, that's the next thing that I'm gonna cut, and I'll get back. Alright, so here we are with it back off, and you can just see where the bolts mount. The 2 slots on either side are for the sliders. It was mostly staggered to the right, that's why one is much bigger than the other. But here we go. I'll pick up, these have spacers underneath the sliders because this is a go-kart seat. So you see the hard spacers that are in the corner. And basically, I left the nut on there. I lift it up, all the spacers come loose because it's just through the body. Keep all that. I'm going to show you underneath. and then you'll see how I built it. So hard to do, but I had 2 of these. One of them somebody threw away. That was my test. This is the good body. This is the second one, the better one. And now we can actually see if we were straight or not. Looks like the frame was actually straight. I didn't get the box centered on it properly. So try again. All of this is a 4 holes. I'm just slotting and moving because we keep moving. This one here is an issue. We're getting close. Back corner and front right. Front right that way, back corner right. So I got a Dremel. We're going to do ye old Dremel. Make a few extra room. So I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now remember, this is all just, it's underneath the go-kart's seat and slider, so you're not going to see any of it anyways. And no, I did not get it straight. So far I've wallered out the holes quite a ways. You can see it on that side, see it on that side. Nothing I'm not really worried about. I'll put big washers in it in the end, but we got to get it straight because it's driving me nuts. We're getting closer now anyway, so I'll set you guys here. You get a good view of it. We're going to slide this thing over that way. Pins in the front of it so I can see whether or not we're actually going to be straight. Now it might be the 200cc. I can't tell the difference between the 200 or the 250. The engines look a lot alike, but I'm hoping she's a 250. Whether or not she is not going to really matter because it's the engine we got. Came with it, got to run with what you brung. These are the pins I was talking about, hold the front end down. The back is nothing but a door hinge on the back to tip it. So let's have a look now, see if we're any straighter. Well, this side, we ain't over far enough. This side, we're getting closer. Let's give her a shove. Not there yet. Getting closer though. I think I'm gonna have to waller out everything basically. So we'll give her a little bit more wallering. I'll let you know how it goes. You can see now, at least she's 3/4 of the way there. I just wallowed out the holes a little bit, don't worry. Nothing's gonna hurt it. It's all chopped and spliced together anyways. U-joints from old quad that got hit by a tree. That's my throttle. It's gonna be cheapy. Mike. Just goes on the other side. So I'm gonna bolt this box back down and then look at it and see if I'm happy about it. All right, back at it. Had to cut it off, wouldn't line up well enough. So I am moving it over. You can see me sliding over, just a hinge, Chinese quad. Not the end of the world. 3 times. Oh.